got to take care of you first. It sounds selfish, but it's not, because if you don't take care of you, you can't be of service to other people. I get my meditation on, then I get my cold shower on. You know, then I'm at work being productive. They know I'm exercising. The more we can get people to be positive, invest in themselves, then they become great contributors to society, you know? And so when you're helping other people, you're actually helping yourself, you're helping the community.
Dude, that's so real. Yeah. And that takes putting the work in. You know that, Mayor. You are the future mayor, brother. You are it. Feel it, see it, manifest it. And you've been doing that into a reality, man. And you're making people pay attention because you're passionate and they know you can.
It makes me so passionate to see the transformation stories you have. And I feel like, as the next mayor of London, it's my responsibility to give so many people in this city, you know, a window into their future selves. And so I'm telling you, man, when I become elected, we're going to do a live DDPY broadcast for the whole city. There's a lot of politicians here that talk about health, but again, I just want to actually make sure I be it, and I want everyone to see me do it, and then I want them to do it, and just, I feel like we're going to have a step change here. So I was just giving you an intro to everybody. You know, this is Diamond Dallas Page, you know, former WWE world champ and the founder of DDPY. I was sharing with everybody a picture of me with your gear. This is me in my stairwell here in the office with the DDPY mat and the jack straps down there. And you saved me during this lockdown because I was doing your stuff in there, getting your hour-long hardcore jacked workouts, feeling good. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate everything you do. And, you know, say hi to everybody.
Appreciate it, man. It's funny because now you guys, I have to ask you before I get into anything, are you guys still on lockdown? What's the situation over there in the UK?
So great question. I mean, one of the reasons I'm running to be the next mayor is because I wasn't too happy about a lot of the decisions everyone was making. And so again, we got 15 days till the election. We just got off partial lockdown a couple weeks ago. So gyms just opened. I think it's been 2 weeks now. But before that, Dallas, everything was closed since kind of Christmas. So,
sure.
I mean, literally all I could do was run outdoors, do burpees, and do DDPY in my stairwell. There wasn't many options. So it was really important to have something to do, you know. Now things look like they're opening up, but still not everything's open up yet. And then we still don't know what's going to happen. And happy birthday, man. You just turned 65, right?
65, baby. Woo. Holding back the hands of time, man.
And I'm
holding back the hands of time.
When I do the DDPY, I always get it when you're leading it. I so far can't do it with any of your team, and I know they're good. But when you're, when I'm telling you, when Dallas is there, 65, and you're standing there with one leg, you know, and doing the splits, and you're doing your 10-second push-ups, man, you got one of those jackstrap workouts where you did 8 or 10 of your 10-second push-ups, and I can't keep up with this, old man, and I'm pretty fit for I'm turning 50 next month. I can follow you for 4 or 5 of those things, but man,
think about that.
It's inspiring, Dallas, and you're like with me in the room. Here I am in a stairwell in an office, and the whole city's locked down, and yet I feel like your energy is pushing me to the next level. And you know, here in Britain, they've told us if you invest in your health, you're going to be, you know, better protected against any future viruses or anything. But the problem with Britain is that we've been encouraged to go to the pubs and to order food that's not the best for us, and they're not actually they're not promoting exercise. And so I had a couple of journalists of some big publications recently. They joked that I've got the biggest biceps of the mayors, which I don't know how that's possible because your biceps back in the day would have put mine to shame. But they joke about how I'm fit and I take my health seriously. Yeah. And they said, are you going to put a gym at City Hall? And I laughed, and then I said, but you know what? If the citizens see their leaders taking their health seriously, then they will too. It's like my kids. I got boys that are 3 and 4 years old. They don't do what I say, Dallas. They do what I do.
Right,
so
right.
I think it's serious and important that a mayor or a governor or a president, you know, they walk the walk and don't just talk the talk when it comes to fitness. And yet no one seems to be talking about that when it comes to protecting ourselves. But that's your business, right? You help people. I tell people about you. You have workouts for people if they can't get out of bed, if they can't get out of the chair, or if they want to be super jacked, right?
Yeah. And, you know, the big thing is the reason why I developed Bedflex for people who can't get out of bed. And the reason I developed that was because I wanted to eliminate all excuses. So I created these workouts in bed that'll help you get the hell out of bed and then sit in a chair and then work out in the damn chair. And I can get your heart, if you're doing what I'm telling you to do, you can get your heart rate jacked up sitting in a chair. Then the next movement is holding onto a chair. I call those stand strong. Then they go beginner, intermediate, advanced, all the way to psycho extreme. I saw somebody put up here, RHG Cowboy Road. I have back problems because how much does it cost? If you go to ddpy.com or ddpyoga.com, there's all different platforms that you can get. You want to get the app because it isn't just workouts. It's pretty much a lifestyle more than anything, because the main thing that's happened over the last year and a half is the whole deal with, mental health. And so many people, if we're not, human beings aren't meant to be trapped in a cage or in the room nonstop with the same people. We're socialites. It's what we do. We get out, socialize with people. Well, that's been a real hang up. And I've helped so many guys with PTSD that now we're coming with a whole different version of that for people who've been trapped in their home. And what I do every Monday on my app, I put out Motivational Monday. Every Monday, it's a different, something I saw, something that inspired me. And I talk about it. There's over 300 of them up there. Every Tuesday is a new workout. It could be sitting in a chair. It could be my psycho extreme stuff. Every Wednesday, it's a new recipe. You just talked about food. I am all about eating real food that God created, not genetically modified garbage. I'm about real food that tastes amazing. And nothing on my, because I just don't tell you what to eat, and I don't just tell you how to make it. I cook it right for you. Or my daughter, Brittany, cooks it, or some of my favorite chefs cook it. And then every Thursday is, tip of the week, every Friday. Now, this is the thing, when people don't listen to a word I say about DDPY, don't even listen to it. Go on Facebook, because pretty much everybody who's watching right now has a Facebook. Go to DDP Yoga, one word. It's a member site. A buddy of mine named Chris Gabriano started it. It's got over 60,000 people on it. And you won't believe how, just how frank everyone is about, there's no layers of bullshit. People are helping each other. It's the best community. That's what helps us get through the hard times.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, you put everything into this, Dallas. I can see what you're doing, the diet, the motivation, the mindset. And again, it is. I mean, I think in the UK, we're maybe a few years behind when it comes to maybe understanding that, the physical aspect becomes the mental aspect, and the diet. And like you said, it's a whole lifestyle. And I'm telling you, Dallas, I'm not joking. I had this dream when I started running for mayor that when I get into City Hall, we're going to do a big live stream. We're trying to get 9.5 million Londoners to do a routine, and whether they're in bed or in a chair, whether they're 90 or they're 9, and they just do it for their mental health, their physical health, and they just, spend a little time with themselves and let it all out. We weren't meant to, like you said, stay in a cage, watch Netflix, and sit around all day. We were meant to move our body, right? That's where the energy is. And
100%.
You proved that that's true. And also, man, your journey is super inspiring to me because, whether it's DDPY, where you put in the work when everyone thought you were crazy, or whether it was when you became big in world wrestling, you started late. Everyone thought you were crazy that you would ever be world champ. And I'm running to be the next mayor of London. Everyone thought I was crazy 6 months ago, but now we're in second place. And I'm just wondering, what is it like to try to have faith in yourself when the world's telling you you're crazy? How do you have that faith? Because so many people watching us right now, they might have that thing in their life. Maybe they don't want to be mayor or world wrestling champ, but they've got that thing that they dream of, but their friends and family think they're crazy. How do you get through that from a mindset standpoint?
To me, mindset's everything. I wrote a book called Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. And it is that 6-inch piece of real estate in between your ears. It is the story you tell yourself. Right now on Amazon Prime, and it's in the UK and it's in the States. On Amazon Prime, I have a new documentary that came out about 4 months ago called Relentless. And Relentless deals with me at the end of my wrestling career, when I blow my back out and they say my career is over, and how I create DDPY and turn it into this force that's helped so many people. But it took 8 years to be an overnight success. It's funny because it took me 8 years in wrestling before everybody knew, I was an overnight success. Everybody knew Diamond Dallas Page was. The same thing happened, but I was also $548,000 in before I made a dime. And I had that disabled veteran, Arthur Borman, who literally, I feel like God sent me to him and him to me. And, when I helped that guy, he proved that this was more than just a workout. It was more of a lifestyle change and something that literally anyone could do. I mean, that video that Arthur has out, and you can go to the bottom page of ddpyoga.com or ddpy.com, and you see this video of Arthur. We can track it to 500 million views. That's what we can track. So easily over 1 billion views. I inspired one guy, and he's inspired millions. Me helping him proved to me that this works. Now I just have to believe and put the work in and not give up. And that's how you see people change lives at a different level. They don't give up, just like you're doing. Who would have thought, that you could have moved into second place? And, the goal is to win, make a statement, and just keep being you, bro. I loved on one of your little videos, you got the one guy who's the guitar player, the brother out there playing was giving you the promo.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy now because, before I announced, because of London Real, which, by the way, my show London Real is almost on 10-year anniversary. And it's funny, Dallas, because it took me about 8 years to become an overnight success with London Real, right? That's when people start saying, oh, wow, who's this new kid that's interviewing all these cool people? It's like, actually, we've been doing this we broadcast every week from 2011, back when no one heard of a podcast in the UK, And again, Rogan inspired me. He invited me on his show back, episode 271, back in the old days. I know you've been on the show. And he was really inspiring for me, and to have us on the show back in the day pushed me even harder. But again, even my career when I was in banking, it took me probably 8 years to finally become good at it. And yet no one wants to hear that in today's world, right? Everybody wants it now. They probably want it in 30 days, let alone 3 years, let alone 8 years. And so, yeah, it's been amazing to see. But a lot of people in London knew who I was, but they didn't know yet if I was the real deal. And so they had to and we put in now 8 months on this campaign trail out there in the streets. We just released this 50-page manifesto, and it's got all the details from policing to transport to housing. And when people read this, they're like, oh my gosh, like you've really done hard work with people inside Parliament, senior police officers, senior transport people. So they're starting to get it. And that guy on the street, he just knows who I am. So when I come by, he's like, Brian Rose, he's playing the things, truck drivers come by, taxi drivers come by, garbage guys come by. They're like, Brian, we're watching you. We see you. We're voting for you. It's an amazing feeling that I'm sure you feel too, because I'm trying to do this for the city I love and for the people, and people can kind of feel the energy. And again, like when you talk about helping Arthur Borman, and again, a lot of people go look at this video. You've already seen this video. Most people have seen it. They just didn't know they were doing DDPY. And you've seen this guy, well, he's overweight, he's got the leg braces, like he can't move, and all of a sudden you see incremental improvement, and by the end he's like standing on his head and doing all this stuff. And that came through the training with Dallas, and it just shows that so many people have potential, But again, you had to have the belief to do what you're doing. And again, you're making, I don't know, you're making physical movement accessible to a whole range of people, Dallas, from the tough guys to the old people to the younger people. I met a young kid the other day. He's like DDPY. That's what I do. He's like in his 20s in the UK. And I was just like, man, your stuff is really getting out there, man. I must feel good.
It feels awesome to see. I'm looking for this pictures of, I'm looking at this. They keep changing Facebook, not Facebook, the iPhone, the iPad. So every time they damn change it, I can't figure out where the hell the pictures that I want. And I've got so many categories, but to really see Arthur go through the change, it was insane. And I just left a meeting right before I came to you. That's called Warrior's Purpose. Is a thing that we're working on right now for the military. And not just the military in our country, all around. If you've served in the military, if you're a veteran, all you got to do is go to ddpy.com and you'll see it's always 50% off. And I never do that. I never go more than 30% off ever, and that's at the holidays. But for military, either working or retired, I take care of them. And there's a whole program that we're setting up that we're piloting right now. And I was just with a guy named Tim who runs over in our country called a thing called Grunt Style. And they do T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But it's all military based. And it's to help the guys out. They give so much back. And that's really, like, at this point, our company's so successful. It's about giving back to people, especially people that I really respect. And nobody, I don't know about over there, but over in our, as you know, in our country, the veterans are treated like, forgotten, especially by the machine that put them out there and beat them up, and it just feels good to be a part of the structure of helping to get those guys back on track. And so much of it has to do, what I found out, with the whole PTSD thing, the mental health thing. That's the biggest thing that I'm finding with my program that has the most impact. Like, okay, you're going to get in shape, you're going to lose weight, but it's not about that. It was never about that. It's about building your confidence back. And that's the strong part. Now, if you're an athlete or a supreme athlete, it's going to do different things for you, like help you from getting injured. But what I mainly deal with is people who are beat up and broken down. And I help them not just, change their life, but own their lives. And that's a powerful feeling.
I would say to anybody out there who's struggling mentally, really, really try a physical practice. Because for me, I've been really open and public about my struggle with addiction and drug overdose back when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And the more I talk about it, the better. But honestly, it was the physical practice that allowed me to start getting through that stuff. And even my daily physical practice, I'm telling you, Dallas, it's 90% mental. I just need to go to another space. It's part meditation. And then with the yoga type stuff, it also takes me to a more peaceful level. When I lay down in silence after one of your 60-minute jack strap wings, I go into a place I can't get even with another hard workout. It's a weird thing when you're doing the stuff with your body, like what you teach. And the mental is really important. But I think people don't think of it that way. They think, oh, I'm just doing exercise and sweat a little bit. But it really is the only way to keep your mental sanity in these trying times, right?
What people don't understand is the release of the serotonin, the release of the stress factor, that when it comes to being like stressed out, exercise, helps you keep mental clarity. Now this is Arthur. I finally figured it out.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so this is 5'6", 297 pounds. He had not walked without the knee braces, back brace, and canes for 15 years. This is day one. This is 10 months later. Just look at his physiology from that guy to that guy. But that's just the beginning of it. This is really where this cat goes from there to there. These are the 6 pictures I have everyone take from there to there. This is my favorite one. I'm like, Arthur, why is your son holding on to you? He said, because I'll fall down. Not anymore. From this guy to this guy. Now, in 1 year, in 10 months, he lost 140 pounds. More importantly, look at him. He lost some knee braces. He took a picture of his 6-foot son standing on his back. I would never ask anyone to do that.
I was just watching that. So he did all that on himself. I mean, that's impressive. I think you showed me some of those pictures when we did our broadcast, but I mean, they're amazing to see again. I mean,
yeah. Let me just interrupt. I just saw a guy who printed up here, SYDWY and WH. He said, I'll be at your retreat 6 years sober in July. God bless you, brother. We're actually doing a retreat in Mexico. And I just put it out there. Like we had, in 2020, we were supposed to go, but we know what happened in 2020. So I put everything on pause, but a lot of people already signed up. I think we had about 35 people or whatever had already signed up when we cut it down and, you know, put a stop to it in March. I think we did that in February. And then now this year we're doing it no matter what. And we just got, because I just started to promote it about 2 weeks ago, and we got flooded. Anybody, I know it's not going to happen in the UK, but anybody watching in the States, go to ddpyogaretreat.com. We will be in Mexico for 6 days and 6 nights. And it's not just, you know, it's not just workouts, eating really good. We do cooking shows. We have pool parties. It's really intimate. And there'll probably still be about 60 or 70 people there, which will be cool. But next year, and this Brian, I am so excited about. My girl and I, my girlfriend's name is Paige.
Yeah, I've seen her on the workouts. She works out with you, right? Yeah.
Payge. Her last name's McMahon, which is kind of crazy. But we're building a home, which is going to be a retreat in Panama City Beach on the Gulf. It is going to be so beautiful. And that's where I'm going to do all my retreats moving forward. Down in Florida, where even with COVID, it was kind of like, okay, a couple of people got some masks on. And a couple of people got it, or a lot of people got it, but then they got over it. You know, what irritates me the most about this whole thing is them calling it a vaccine. That's the thing that irritates me the most. It is. It's a COVID flu shot. And for me personally, you know, I think people who need to take it should take it. And people who don't want to take it, like, I don't want to put that shit in my body.
I think
they've done with it.
Everyone should have that personal choice, and I think that's what's most important. I mean, the freedoms are most important: freedom of speech, freedom of what you put in your body. And I think the states like Texas and Florida and stuff are kind of honoring that freedom. And we've seen a mass exodus from other states into those states, and I think the people are voting for that freedom. You know, that I'd like to make those choices. I think we're seeing a lot of that. But these retreats sound amazing. You're always building new spaces and welcoming people in. I love it, Dallas. Dallas, I got a question for you about haters. Because when you were trying to come up in the WWE, you must have had a lot of people that said, this guy can't hack it. This old man can't hack it. How do you get through the criticism? And this is before the internet, right? Now the internet comes on. I mean, how do you deal with haters? And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, famous people or successful people don't have them, but I guess everyone has them.
Oh my God.
How'd you deal with them in WWE, and how do you deal with them even now?
I saw a quote, and I'll put it like this. Again, the story you tell yourself. I saw a quote, and the quote was this. It said, the repetitions of affirmations leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. And I started to think about that. Well, that's just keeping the repetitions of affirmations. They can be really negative. And you can just pull yourself in suck yourself into that emotional gravity, or they can be really powerful. And I use the example of going in 2017 to accept my Hall of Fame induction. And Eric Bischoff, gave me an amazing introduction. And going into that, when they heard my speech, because the writers want to know what you're going to say, and they told me I only had 15 minutes, I had written 27 minutes. I knew it was going to take about that. And they were like, oh, DDP, can't go over 15. So I went back and started rewriting it, and then they called me up the next day after I'd finished rewriting it. And they said, can you do it for us? I'm like, sure, come on up. So I started to do the 15 minutes. He goes, no, the other one. After I spent all night on that one. The bottom line is I read it to him. He went back, talked to Kevin Dunn, who's the head producer. He said, don't go over 30. Do whatever you want. And I could have got in my head thinking, what the hell am I thinking? I'm going to be in front of 20,000 people. Millions of people are going to be watching on the network and the USA channel. What am I thinking? Like, what if my iPad freezes? What if I forget where I am? What if it doesn't work? That wasn't my inner voice. My inner voice was one thing. I'm going to blow everyone away. This is going to be my finest half hour in the world of professional wrestling. I'm going to blow them away. I'm going to make them laugh. I'm going to make them cry. I'm going to inspire them. And that's the only thing I allow in my mind. Now, not this year, this January, but last January, Cody Rhodes had asked me to do a match with AEW. And AEW is now on your guys' network out there. They're playing it in the UK. But they're all over TNT. And that's where WCW was huge. That's where we were kicking WWF's ass at the time. And when Cody told me what he wanted me to do, and it ended with me jumping off the top rope down to the floor on the guys. I was 3 months from 64 years young. But the bottom line is anything can happen. When you do something like that, I could have broke my neck. I could have torn my ACL out. I mean, all these things ran through my mind prior, but I put all the work in to make sure that wouldn't happen. And then the rest is my mental attitude. And again, I'm going to blow everyone away. No one's going to see this coming. I'm going to hit. I'm going to pop up. And I had to see it. So many people get caught up into this, I can't do this. This is never going to be happening. So many people pull themselves down to this worthless, like they have no self-worth. And the bottom line is if they really focus and look at that, they'll see like, wow, that really works for me because I don't feel like I have any self-worth, because I don't really have any confidence in myself. The bottom line is, trust me, the other shit works too. Like where you really believe in yourself and you treat yourself with respect. Like, I think they say the golden rules, treat people the way people treat themselves or whatever. I don't want that. Most people treat themselves like shit. They talk garbage about themselves. They put garbage in their mouths. They poison their bodies. I don't do any of that. When I woke up this morning, I jumped in a 15 PSI hyperbaric chamber for an hour and a half. Now, to understand that, hyperbaric chambers are in Mayo Clinic. They're in all the huge hospitals. And I have the highest one that you can have. Anything over 12 PSI breaks the brain-blood barrier, putting oxygen on your brain. You can't have something healthier happen to your body. That's how I start my day. I've got my phone sealed, I've got my iPad sealed, and I either work or I watch movies, mostly documentaries. And I'll go through my learning stage there. Then I get up and I get on the mat. Then I go eat and I get on my beamer pad. Then I go on. I'm always taking care of myself so I can take care of other people. And if you're a mother or a father out there, you can't do it for your kids. You got to do it for you so you can do it for your kids. That's what you're doing. How old are your kids? 3 and 4?
Yeah, 3 and 4.
Right. You're staying in shape for you, because you know if you stay in shape for you, you're going to be there for them. And staying in shape for yourself, I can't tell you, and you know, but I can't tell people like how important it is for your confidence. Because when you feel good, when you put real food in your body, when you're energized, I'm 65, okay? And for the last 10 years, I've been saying, I'm not training. I'm not living for 65. I'm not preparing for 65, because that's going to be here tomorrow. Oh, yesterday, last week, I'm preparing for 75, 85, 95, and believe it or not, 105. That's how I condition my body and my brain. And I'm going to keep doing it. And at some point, people are going to go, man, that son of a bitch, he's 70. Look at him. He's 75. It must be real. He's 80. Oh, my God, he almost looks the same. You know, it's like, it's just, I walk the talk just like you do.
So important what you're saying. They're so important. And again, you've got to take care of you first. It sounds selfish, but it's not. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't be of service to other people. And so I take my personal routine seriously, man. And my kids watch me do it. When Batty wakes up in the morning, I get my meditation on. Then I get my cold shower on. You know, then I'm at work being productive. They know I'm exercising. They know I'm spending some time with them. They know I'm doing all these things, and I do it daily. I get people all the time, Dallas, that mention me on my live streams. I did one today. They said, Brian, where do you get the energy? Because they see me every day campaigning, every day live. And the truth is that I've had times in my life where I had no purpose. I've had times in my life where I was putting bad things in my body, drugs and alcohol, and eating poorly, and didn't have a physical practice. And I remember what that was like. It was dark. It was desolate. Now I've solved all those issues. I'm still got other things I'm working on, but those things I've got them locked down. And I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be having a purpose. I'm grateful to be of service, which it took me 40 years to figure out that's the key to life. I thought it was about getting the most for Brian. That's not where the happiness is. Doing the most for someone else is where the happiness is. And so now when I'm in that flow, and again, I'm taking care of myself. My team knows here, I go do my physical practice every day at 2 o'clock, and that's almost non-negotiable. And if I don't do that, then I'm not as productive. I can't do as much service. I'm not in the right zone. But if I get that in, if I get my sleep in, I get my meditation in, I get my family time in, I'm almost like a super force out there. And I wish more people would listen to what you just said, Dallas, is that take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and have pride in yourself. It builds your self-esteem. It's self-love. And you'll find that then you allow yourself to do more because you're not scared. You're not negative talking. I also do affirmations every morning, Dallas, where I tell myself the future I want as if it's happening today. I've been telling myself I'm the next mayor of London for 7 months, and it just becomes that reality. I have an academy called London Real Academy. The biggest problem I have with my students is they don't believe in themselves. They don't have enough confidence, and they're worried what other people will say. Most of my job is trying to get them to just take more risks, to go out there and go be something. And that's why when I see people on social media trying to shame people or talk bad, I mean, I have a hard enough time getting people to believe in themselves. I would rather, people spend more time promoting other people and building people up as opposed to tearing people down, because, we need people to be their best selves. Then you got Dallas Pages everywhere. You got Brian Roses everywhere. You got Elon Musk's everywhere. Joe Rogan's everywhere. Doing great things that make us better as humans, as opposed to people when they're down on themselves, they're down on everybody else, right?
I got your back now.
You got me back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just saw you coming back. So yeah, I think the more we can get people to be positive, invest in themselves, then they become great contributors to society, And so when you're helping other people, you're actually helping yourself. You're helping the community.
Dude, that's so real. You know, I deal with a lot of people who come through depression, and, you know, and I tell them all the time, it may not be the 100% cure, but I guarantee you will feel better if you just help one person. And like, that's what I do all day long. And I'll go to that Facebook site, DDP Yoga. That's one word. And it's like members only. And I will like things people say. I will leave them comments. Great job. Keep up the good work. You know, all the things that motivate, you know, like, I don't know people who own a huge company who come there and talk to the people who are actually doing their program. And I have a one-on-one relationship with literally hundreds of people, because when I see them putting the work in and starting to believe in themselves, then I reach out. And I'm just looking for people who are putting the work in. And a lot of them I will privately coach because they're really in a dark spot. Like, I had a guy who, you know, like, let me read you this one thing. I think I pull it up here. My thing just went dead. The messages that I get from people are so powerful, man, in the way that they have learned now by putting the work in how much, you know, brighter their life is. And helping other people, like, that's my whole thing with that whole Facebook site, is that people are helping people. It's all about the community, man. And if we can reach out and help other people, it just makes everybody, you know, happier, and makes you feel more confident in yourself and have more self-worth.
I wish somebody taught me this stuff at college. You know, I went to university and I studied engineering and math and science. And I mean, I went to MIT. It was a good school, but I just wish there was a class on, you know, my body, investing in my mental health, investing in my physical health. I wish there was something, you know, Dallas, that taught us this stuff. I guess that's what maybe we're doing right now, creating content. And now that kids can get educated in different ways, right? Because this seems like basic building blocks of life we're talking about here. I just wish I knew this as a younger man, because I went down a real self-destructive path that I didn't need to. So I think you're changing the game with what you're doing, Dallas. And I really appreciate it.
Let me read. I found this thing, Brian. Let me read this thing. I got this about 4 months ago. I think it's September. I got this. It's DM'd me on Twitter. And he writes, "Sir, I'm not even sure how to address you. Mr. Page, Dallas, DDP. In March of this year, I was at my absolute heaviest. My diet was poor, my body was falling apart, and I was having serious health issues that it got to the point where my doctor saw me for a visit and said something along the lines of, 'I didn't think I was going to see you again. I honestly thought you were going to die in between visits.' About a week later, my wife comes in the bedroom, tells me our marriage is over, she's found a new boyfriend, and I need to leave. With as much dignity as I could muster, I moved out of my house and into an apartment. The pandemic had taken a hold, so I was experiencing health issues that medical professionals thought would kill me. The virus was wreaking havoc on my body while my life was falling apart. A friend of mine sold me a copy of YRG. That's my stuff from back in 2005. He sold me a copy of YRG a few years ago, but I never really sunk my teeth into it because I was busy with a life that was killing me. Since there was nowhere to go but up, I put a copy of the DVD in, Fat Burner Workout. It hurt, but it was a great distraction for a broken heart. One of my colleagues at work noticed I was making a change and asked me what I was doing. When he heard I was doing YRG, he said, "DDP came out with a new book. You might like it." Now, you know, the name of the book is Positively Unstoppable, and the tag is The Art of Owning It. This is what he writes. I stopped by Barnes & Noble and picked up a copy of Positively Owning It. That book made me see the truth of my situation. Yes, my wife had drop-kicked my heart into my butt. Yes, she was with someone new. And yes, I had to start all over again at 35. all those things considered, it was my responsibility to take charge. I couldn't change what had happened, but I could take control of where I was going. My diet, my exercise, my lifestyle all became contingent on what I was doing. Instead of looking at my sudden lifestyle change as something that happened to me, I drew an inspiration from positively owning it and began seeing my situation as an opportunity to be excited about the changes in my life. I was becoming strong. I didn't see dieting as being depressed about what I couldn't eat, but more jazzed about what I could eat. Through your wisdom and encouragement, I began listening to my body. I paid attention to what my body ran well on, what my body didn't react well to. This is beautiful here. And what foods affected my mood in different ways. Yeah. Restrictive diets don't work for me because but because I was listening to what my body was asking for, I didn't have to go on a restrictive diet. I substituted garbage for high-octane fuel. I left my home on April 4th, 2020 at my heaviest. When I weighed in the doctors last time, I had shed 60 pounds in 4 months. My blood pressure has improved, my mental clarity, my stamina, and my mood. My body is stronger than it was when I was 25. I still have a very long way to go, but now I know I'm equipped for the battle, not just to fight, but to win. I'm sure you hear this a lot, Mr. Dallas, but your work has absolutely saved my life. Your workouts are encouraging and tough. Your book is incredible. Diamond Dallas Page took me from someone who was falling asleep while standing up in the shower to someone who can look himself in the mirror and feel proud about who he's becoming.
Nice.
You are doing God's work, sir. As a kid who stayed up late on Monday nights to watch the NWO take a helping heaping of the diamond cutter and remembers hating Dennis Rodman for interrupting DDP, almost joining the wolf pack, I can't imagine a better spirit on earth to help me with my journey. This is him at critical mass.
Wow, that's amazing.
552.
Wow.
I get that. I get that DM. It's 12:30 at night. I just DM him. Send me your phone number. Bing! Comes right up. I call him. We talk for 45 minutes. His 1 year anniversary was April 4th, the day before my birthday. He is down 197 pounds.
That's
in
incredible.
1 year. One year. He was a little bummed that he didn't break the 200 mark. I was like, are you serious? And he got it. He got it. But he's a completely different person. His confidence has gone through the roof. His self-respect, his worthiness, like he knows he deserves a great life. Yeah. And that takes putting the work in. You know that, Mayor. You are the future mayor, brother. You are it. Feel it, see it, manifest it, and you've been doing that into a reality, man. And you're making people pay attention because you're passionate and they know you care.
Man, I appreciate it, Dallas. It's always great to talk to you, and you're such an inspiration. And I think people watching this today will think, man, maybe I'm that person. Maybe I'm one of the many people you've helped that wrote me that letter, or they're in a bad state. And even if they're maybe not that far, they just know. And hopefully, I think people today will get inspired to just do that first step. And man, I just want to say, the passion you put into those workouts, the end of the workout, you say, do this again tomorrow. Like that stuff. the diamond cutter is a brilliant thing. I do it out in the park sometimes. Sometimes I do it not even when I'm training.
Right.
It just opens me up, man. And I roll the shoulders back at tension, and people think I'm maybe crazy, but it feels so good. And again, you just made this practice so accessible to so many people. And it makes me so passionate to see the transformation stories you have. And I feel like as the next mayor of London, it's my responsibility to give so many people in this city, you know, a window into their future selves. And so I'm telling you, man, when I become elected, we're going to do a live DDPY broadcast for the whole city. And we're going to get 10 million people moving their bodies. Love that. And I'm telling you, it's going to change the game. That. It just is going to, I feel like it's going to make the whole city is going to have like a jump in everything, GDP, happiness, productivity. Everyone's going, what's going on there? And we'll be like, well, that was that DDPY live stream. And so, you know, again, there's a lot of politicians here that talk about health, but again, I just want to actually make sure I be it, and I want everyone to see me do it, and then I want them to do it, and just I feel like we're going to have a step change here. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate the app. I appreciate all the stuff, and I appreciate those jack straps, although sometimes it feels like my arms are going to explode with them. And your perseverance is it's inspiring. I mean, like you said, you know, 8 years in, over $500,000 down, and then you're an overnight success. And so for anybody out there that wants to build something they respect, it takes time, it takes determination, it takes those daily affirmations, and you got to wake up every morning thinking, I'm going to blow them away, right? That's what you're thinking, right?
100%. 100%. Anybody who wants to try the program, anywhere from the UK to the US, who's ever tapped into this, just go to ddpy.com. It costs nothing for you to try it. You get 7 days free on the app. It goes from laying in bed to Psycho Extreme and everything in between, man. Brian, good luck with everything, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep walking that talk. And eventually, brother, you will be sitting right where you're supposed to be, my friend.
Amen to that, man. I get a lot of inspiration from you WWE guys sometimes. I'm out there talking some smack as well. You might have seen me. And
I love it.
I'm trying to get a showdown, but this guy doesn't want to meet me in the ring. So I'm making it loud. So I do get inspiration from the way you guys do it. And people like a good show here. They like an underdog. They like someone who's got the new ideas, the new kid on the block. And we're taking that to the extreme here. So again, thank you, brother. Let's get, I'd love to see you when you get to London, and I'm going to come see you in the States at some point, man, and come to one of your retreats or something. But again, thanks so much for what
Absolutely.
You do. Yeah.
I don't want to let everybody, in the UK know, as soon as everything's been lifted and we can go back to socializing and it all gets back, the first tour I'm booking is in the UK. The last time I was there in 2018 was unbelievable. We never had under 100 people at every workout. It was inspiration meets perspiration. Thank you, everybody in the UK and the United States, for getting my program and believe in me and continue to put the work in and change your lives. And more than anything, sharing it with other people. I really appreciate it. Brother, awesome seeing you, man.
There it is.
See ya.
Thanks so much. There he is.